everyone, Infinitecaz here, and welcome to another video. Today, I want to talk all about subs. These are a crucial part of every weapon in Splatoon 2 and can help shape your playstyle. From deadly one-hit KO bombs to more niche support options, a weapon's viability can come down to its sub, either propelling it into the meta or pushing it down to the depths of irrelevancy. Today, I want to go through all 13 sub weapons in the game and rank them based on how well they perform their intended role. While I intend to keep any bias out of this list, it's also my personal opinion, so if one of my picks shocks you, be sure to let me know in the comments. With that out of the way, please like and subscribe as it really helps me out, and let's get right into it. Last on this list is a very underwhelming sub, that being Toxic Mist. It's a spiritual successor to the Disruptor from Splatoon, but it's much worse. For 60% of your ink tank, you can throw out a cloud of mist that slows opponents down and drains their ink tank if they are in it. While it may sound decent, the effects are not that drastic, and it's very easy for your opponent to move out of the mist radius. The main reason you would use Toxic Mist is when aggressing, so you can easily catch up with them and hopefully get the splat. However, the advantage it gives you isn't really worth the huge loss in ink. Your opponent also has to be in the mist for a while for their ink tank to drain, which makes it even easier for them to move out of the area. The only decent use of Toxic Mist is how well it counters ballers. It drastically reduces their roll speed, giving time for you to pop the shield, which is great in clan blitz and pinch situations. But it's really not that useful when looking at the full picture. The range of weapons that have Toxic Mist is decent. Weapons like Rapid Throw and Bamboo can use it well, but overall, they would be much better off with another sub. Toxic Mist isn't awful, just very outclassed and situational. Next up is a sub that isn't inherently bad, but just doesn't have the ability to stand up against most of the roster. The Sprinkler, when deployed, paints an area of ink around it, which can be used to charge your special or get some much needed map control. The Sprinkler can also be placed on near to every surface, from ceilings to uninkable walls. It has 3 intensities. For the first 5 seconds, it spreads ink much faster. Then for the next 15, it slows down, then slows down again until it's either destroyed or you die. The main issues with the Sprinkler is how little offensive and supportive power it has. It's nice for a bit of paint, but in no way will help you win a 1v1, and they can be easily destroyed if it's spotted by an opponent. The weapons with Sprinkler are a bit hit or miss. There are some great picks, such as the heavy Splatling and Ken's Dynamo Roller, but it also has some strange combos, such as the Slosher Deco. The Sprinkler simply doesn't have what most other subs in Splatoon have, so that's why it's down here. I had a hard time deciding where to put SQUID beacons. As a concept, they have a lot of potential. Placing a beacon offers a jumping point for up to 2 of your teammates, without giving away their position, providing the beacon is still intact. This is very effective on larger maps, and allows your teammates to quickly jump back into the action. These can keep a good push going, or surprise the opposing team if you are wiped. The concept of the beacons are great, but there are few weapons that utilise the sub to its full potential, as either the main weapon is lackluster, or the kit does not work well with the playstyle. Beacons are best on larger maps, as on most tight-knit ones, your beacons can be easily destroyed if your opponents get control and check the map. So while beacons can be very powerful, they are still situational and lack the weapons to perform well. The point sensors are an interesting sub, as they give you the ability to keep track of your opponents. When thrown, you can tag opponents who step inside the radius, which gives you a detailed position of them for roughly 8 seconds. This sub can be used in a lot of situations, such as when checking flank spots and using specials like Stingray and Inkjet. While it has a lot of uses, it doesn't deal any damage or disrupt your opponents, so you need to rely on your main and special to apply pressure and get splats. It's easy for your opponents to reposition if tagged, and while it can work on weapons like the Custom Explosure, most weapons are just better off with a bomb as a sub. If you want a defensive sub, the Splash Wall is perfect for that. When deployed for 60% of your ink tank, it creates a wall of ink that prevents any opposing shots from hitting you. This is perfect for defensive weapons such as the Fire Fin, but it's also great for more aggro weapons to protect you in a 1v1. It has a base duration of 7 seconds, which can help you recover ink and get back to full health. However, you are vulnerable to bombs, as they explode when hitting the wall, so they can lead to your death. Splash rolls are also harder to use than a lot of subs, but they are great in so many situations. They can also support another teammate when pushing, but the downsides do stop it from being higher on this list. Ink mines are one of, if not the most overlooked sub in the game. You may think they're bad because they don't have one-shot potential, and can't be thrown or anything, but believe me when I say they're a crucial part of most of the weapons they come with. For 60% of your ink tank, you can place a mine down on any inkable floor. If your opponent goes near it, the mine explodes, inking an area around it and dealing up to 45 damage in the process. They also tag said opponent for 5 seconds, so you know exactly where they're heading. The ink mines can explode if they're painted over, but you can still see them when it happens, giving you an idea of any flanks. Ink mines are best placed in common flank spots or the objective to catch people who try to aggress you. This is even better when you see a lot of the weapons that ink mines come with. The custom Hydra, E-liter, Camo Tent all benefit from this sub so much, as the damage can help you get picks, and the tracking effect assists your team and allows you to improve your game awareness. Ink mines may be a supportive sub, but they help in so many situations, such as keeping the zone painted, notifying you of flanks, and giving you the ability to back up and win a 1v1. They may seem underwhelming on paper, but play with them for a while and you will realise how useful they truly are. When it comes to more unique subs, the Torpedo certainly has a lot going for it. When thrown, they lock onto a nearby opponent and travel towards them, until it hits them or it is shot down. It only takes a hit to knock it down, so it's very easy to disrupt. A torpedo can do anywhere up into the 80s damage wise, if the direct and splash both hit. They are great for disruption, and can get some picks, but are best for improving your game awareness and aggressing opponents that may be distracted by your sub. The sub pairs very well with the weapons it comes with, especially the Kenza Rapid and Clear Dapple Dualies. This sub can be very strong, but I feel that its vulnerability and the fact that it's only on a few weapons stops it from being even higher. With a tweak or two and a few more weapons to play with, it would be so much stronger. When looking for a sub that pairs well with an aggressive weapon, the Curling Bomb does just that. This sub weapon rolls along the floor when deployed, exploding when it reaches the end of its path, dealing enough damage to splat an opponent. You can hold down R to reduce this range, but it makes the splash damage more lethal. I was very conflicted at where to put this sub, as it has its ups and downs, but it's very strong when used with the right weapon. It works well when pushing and can cause distractions if your opponents are unsure about your whereabouts. It can also work well on defense. By increasing its blast radius, you can lock off pathways and get a pick or two potentially. However, it can be predictable when swimming behind it, and when you don't have a lot of map coverage, it can give your whereabouts away. But regardless, the Curling Bomb is very strong when used right, and it doesn't have as many flaws as other subs. The next sub on this list is a cheap but very interesting bomb. Auto bombs, once deployed, move towards an opponent if they're in the bomb's radius. Once they reach the position, they then explode. If there is no opponent in the radius, they simply explode where they were thrown. They can easily get a one-hit KO, and because they only cost 55% of your ink tank, a bit of sub-saver allows you to throw 2 in rapid succession. They can provide a lot of pressure, and are decent at painting with their blast radius. Because they are so small, they are easy to miss and get picks because of that. The tracking feature also allows you to hunt down opponents and force them to move where you want. I think people often overlook auto bombs, as with weapons like the Tetras and Cerebella, they pair well and help with aggression. Next up are burst bombs, a bomb that can't one-hit KO, but they explode on contact, and do anywhere from 25 and 60 damage. Each bomb takes up 40% of your ink tank, so 2 can be thrown in rapid succession, allowing you to get a splat if both are directs. Aside from damage, burst bombs are also great for mobility and paint, as they have a decent sized blast radius and are relatively cheap. The weapons they come with are overall great, as burst bombs are so versatile they can help every weapon get picks, no matter how long or short ranged. Some weapons like the Grim Range and Tri-Slosher can combine your bomb and main weapon to get an even faster splat. They can also be used to trap opponents and pressure them in tight areas, so overall they are a very versatile weapon that are good in so many situations. Fizzy bombs are one of my favourite subs in the game, and I love their mechanics and overall potential. To charge up the bomb, hold down the R button and shake your controller. Once you reach the third charge, the bomb is ready to be thrown. The longer you shake it for, the wider its paint trail and it will explode up to 3 times. And if all 3 bursts hit, it's enough to take down an opponent. As each splash damage does 35 and a direct does 50. Because fizzy bombs are very mobile, you can push forward with them, which is nice considering the weapons with fizzy bomb work well with better mobility. They're also great at defense, to clear out tight alleyways and protect the objective. The only downside is only 4 weapons in the game have this sub, and while they're all decent, none of them are seen all the time. A shame for such a great and versatile sub to go underused. Let's talk about the most powerful sub in the game, at least damage wise, and that's the suction bomb, as it can do up to 220 damage, enough to get a splat through ink armour. This makes it a great counter to many popular comps, specifically the double armour. The suction bombs stick to near any surface it's thrown at, and detonates 2 seconds after making contact. The splash radius is also very large, so if you don't get the splat, no worries. Your opponents will either have to wait to get back to full health, or risk getting rushed and picked off at low health. The only issue is they can be very simple to avoid, as they detonate quite long after they land, so they're more used for control and pressure than getting kills on opponents with good game awareness. Last but certainly not least, let's talk about splat bombs. These are one of the most basic sub-weapons in the game, but are all around great. They can deal anywhere from 30 to 180 damage, and therefore have the potential to one-shot. They detonate shortly after landing, and provide instant pressure, which can clear out tight pathways and push them back from the objective. It's easy to throw them in specific spots, to flush out heavier weapons or to allow an easier splat. You can either use them for offense or defense, and they combine well with another weapon if you're being pushed back. Their blast radius is also very decent, so they work in so many different situations. If you don't get a splat, more than likely they will be damaged to some extent. There isn't too much to say specifically, just that it's a great sub that works with all the weapons it has. Splat bombs are with long and short ranged weapons, and while they're used very differently on anchors compared to a T-Tech, they're just as great. The Junior can also easily get double splat bombs, which greatly increases its pressure and paint coverage, and is one of the reasons why it's widely used. There is no sub with the versatility and lethal force of the splat bomb, and because of that, it deserves the number 1 spot. That's all for now, and thank you so much for watching until the end. Do you agree with my list? Be sure to let me know down in the comments. Please like and subscribe as it really helps me out, and I will see you all next time. Bye!